What's up, everybody? Maddox here. Welcome back to the Pokehistorian, the show where sometimes I just get on this camera and say whatever's on my mind. And tonight, what's on my mind? I'll go ahead and tell you it's this new Wall Street Journal article that's come out, basically letting the cat out of the bag about Pokemon cards and how much easy money can be made. So, this is the first time in a while that Pokemon has really kind of gotten into the media spotlight. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this is the first time a major news outlet has put out an article about how easy it is to invest in Pokemon card and how you can make so much money doing it. Like, you would see like the occasional article about Charizard and how there's a really expensive Charizard card or some other chase card, but I've never seen a mainstream news article or news story come out and say that Pokemon is like the great new investing vehicle that's gonna light the world on fire. And now we have that. So what does that mean? Well, I think first and foremost, for those of you that are already here and have amassed a pretty good collection of both sealed and or single cards, whatever you're into, I think you would be in that category of people where they would say the easy money has been made and a lot of the big moves have been made before people start kind of fighting over the scraps and the leftovers. Because usually once when it comes to like investing in things, once the mainstream media has put out an article saying that something is a hot investment, that means that the smart money has already kind of swooped in and made most of the big plays. So congrats to you for being here before that article came out. And if you're new, welcome, but just know that you're entering something that's not quite as easy as some news outlets would have you believe it to be, because there's going to be a lot of other people joining. So I guess that's my first thought. And my second thought is just going back to all the people that are joining. And there's been a lot of mixed feelings in the community regarding Pokemon investing and, you know, how many people should be doing it. How much should you be doing? Is it ethical? Is it not? And I think that that whole situation is about to get a lot worse, because now that a mainstream outlet has reached so many news people and businesses and investment firms, I think you're going to start seeing even more wealthy people move into this hobby than you were already seeing, which means that a lot of high-end stuff is probably going to get a lot more valuable. We're probably going to start seeing a lot more buyouts too. So it's kind of unfortunate. Seems like it's kind of like the necessary progression of like any market. You know, everything always starts out small, but then like something gets popular enough and, you know, whatever that thing is sort of in some ways like degrades over time. Like you think of, for example, like you got an up and coming town, right? And there's not many people there, but it's exciting. You know, it's developing a little bit. There's plenty of space to move around. There's plenty of groceries. You know, you don't have to worry about there not being enough stuff on store shelves. Gas stations are reasonable. Some nice restaurants with reasonable prices. But then eventually the town gets more popular. Traffic gets worse. Prices go up. And, you know, that town ends up like not being quite what it used to be, and it becomes just kind of a different beast. I mean, I guess there are certain things that make it better if you have a lot of people, but there's certain things where you can't argue that the character changes. So not to go off too much on that tangent, but that's kind of where Pokemon's at now. We started really seeing this transition, I would say probably going back to COVID. We got our first real warning sign that this might be coming. And then obviously last year it really kind of took off. And now that the cat's out of the bag, I think we're going to see probably this whole hobby continue to change, continue to optimize, and to continue to become financially focused. And I don't think there's a whole lot you or I can really do about it. Even just on YouTube, there's so many channels about Pokemon investing and how to play it. It's very easy to get seasoned in this stuff and like learn, you know, not to panic, not to FOMO, not to sell things before they need to be sold. And a lot of the people that are buying cards now are pretty financially savvy, and they're also pretty financially sound. So when you see a lot of these larger items getting bought out, don't expect whoever bought that to panic sell, because you're seeing a lot of wealthier people buy this stuff, and you're going to see a lot more. But what can you do about it? Well, there's really two things I would say that you might want to consider. First and foremost, like I've kind of been doing with some of my cards, if there are things that you're trying to achieve in life, other goals, this isn't a bad time to go ahead and sell some of your collection, because there's going to be a lot of wealthy people that are interested in buying it. So if you're trying to, maybe pay off a credit card, or if you have some sort of medical procedure for a family member that you need to help pay for, if you're trying to buy your first house, pay for college, whatever your life situation is, we all go through stuff. I continue to say that this is a fantastic time to go ahead and unload your position, because these type of hot markets like that, I'm telling you, they don't come around every day. Like, I had things that I had been trying to sell for over a year, and then in the last few months, like, they sold very, very quickly. So that just kind of shows you where you're at with that. And the other thing I would say is that if you got something you really like, if you got something that's actually pretty rare, pretty valuable, pretty sought after, and you don't need the money, and you're set in all your other ways, shapes, and forms in life, if I were you, I would hold on to that card or group of cards or sealed product very, very, very tightly. The best analogy I come up with here is another sort of kind of development parable. Like, you have the developer comes in and wants to develop this area of town, right? So he buys out all the property owners so he can build like this new, say it's like a subdivision of like little cookie cutter homes. But then you got like the old grandma, right? And she won't sell, and she just holds out. And the longer she holds out, the more people offer her money for that home. And then, eventually her property becomes more and more valuable, because that developer needs that property to complete the project, and she's not selling. And I think we're about to see some similar things here. You're going to see a lot of wealthy people that are moving into the Pokemon hobby. They're buying everybody out. And if you're one of the holdouts and you can hold on to some of the cards that you truly like and you truly value and you want to hold long term, I think not only are you going to be happy to continue to have a cool collection, but I do think you're also going to be very happy with yourself financially into the future. So that's my two pieces of advice. Go ahead and sell what you don't like, but don't let go of those precious cards that mean a lot to you, whether it's sentimental or because of their value or rarity. So there you have it. That's what I wanted to say in this video. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Peace.